I'm Gilbert Verdian. I'm a technologist with a deep background in cybersecurity and a passion in business to make ideas a reality. My philosophy in life is tackling large transformational issues and solving those pain points for the next generation. And it's looking at the technical challenge, the core of the problem, and having that breadth of experience and background to really solve the problem head on. At Quant, we're pioneers in digital money and programmability of all forms of money. This is a transformational shift in the way money works. We have been using a design of money that was made 60 years ago. That hasn't really changed that much. It's binary. It does two things. It's very simple. It's a push and a pull. What is so different to this is money can do multiple things for the first time. It's no longer a push and a pull. It can understand a language, it can understand instructions, and it could do things on your behalf and automate business processes. We've never had this before, and it's the first innovation in the world to bring programmability to all forms of money. The way we want money to work is the same as information. It should be available globally, it should be instant, and it should understand what we need it to do. And that's why Quant Flow does. It solves that problem. Part of Quant Flow, we've created the language of money called Payscript. Payscript enables businesses, banks, consumers to program money and talk to money to instruct it to automate things. And what we found was if we take that friction away, enable people to automate their lives, their businesses, they are going to free themselves up, reduce costs, and get on and focus on business. And it's going to be a dramatic shift in the way we operate as a whole. So we're looking forward to what happens globally with this because we're changing the dynamics of business.
Hello everybody, this is yet another update in regard to this ongoing series about how we feel QNT will be the most expensive token, not coin, token in history. You're going to definitely want to consider sticking to the end of the outline for this particular video. And again, consider smashing that like moving forward because we will bring you a lot of deep dive content into this particular video that you'll find a lot of value by referencing the internet of value and the internet of trust in this particular video. And of course, let's just do that. Let's jump right into the video and why it matters to you.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. So just a few taps, you can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.
So for one, we're going to discuss some things. So there is Quant Flow. There's also Overledger Fusion. Gilbert Verdian came out with a lot of new updates. And of course, QNT is doing pretty well. In the top 100, it was up about roughly 15%. That's pretty significant for QNT, to say the least, with, let's face it, a lot of FUD and people doubting this. I will also state this, and we'll share some perspective from Jesse, and that is, when we talk about the big players like Microsoft, they never captured the value, what was moved, okay, on the actual, let's face it, like a network and so on, because it was never tokenized. When we get to Jesse's segment about some of this, he's going to share with you some perspectives that I don't think you're aware of at all. So let's jump into the first announcement. It comes from the Quant Network. And in the citation, believe it or not, it doesn't come from smoke. It comes from the man, the myth, the legend. In my opinion, this man is part of the Mount Rushmore of crypto, Gilbert Verdian. And Gilbert has this to share with us. It's the announcement. In his announcement, he gets into the weeds of it all. And it's announcing Overledger Fusion, the world's first Layer 2.5 network for institutions and, of course, DeFi. Now, guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen, we're not oblivious to the notion that a lot of people have already covered this, but guess what? We're going to get more in depth upon it. You guys know what we do. We get a little deep on some of this stuff. And what you're about to also see is how Gilbert goes into the details about some of this. So institutions, enterprises, DeFi ecosystems, a layer 2.5 network. That sounds pretty crazy. I've always pointed out that I don't feel as though we're in Web 3, we're in Web 2.5 and trying to get to Web 3. So at the heart of Overledger Fusion is the Overledger platform itself and their patented multi-ledger rollup technology, which creates a multi-chain rollup network that operates seamlessly across existing Layer 1 blockchains. This unique approach bridges the gap between private and public networks, ensuring the scalability, compliance, privacy, and interoperability required by today's most demanding use cases. Why it matters. The current generation of Layer 1 blockchains has successfully demonstrated the value of decentralized systems, resilient, distributed, and secure environments that facilitate the transfer of digital value. Yet, for mainstream institutional adoption, critical challenges remain unsolved. This right here, even if I didn't know jack diddly squat about Quant, that would be my aha moment of wanting to pay attention moving forward. So by all means, pay attention in this one because you'll be glad that you did. Overledger Fusion is designed to meet growing institutional demand by solving the core limitations of today's blockchain or public blockchain infrastructure, I should say, which continue to be barriers to wide-scale institutional adoption and implementation. I know I'm reading a lot of this verbatim, but this comes from Gilbert Verdient. So, current barriers to, of course, blockchain adoption. Node compliance risks. Institutions cannot determine where public Layer 1 nodes are hosted or who controls them. This poses unacceptable risks, especially if nodes are based in sanctioned jurisdiction. Ever notice that for some of the big institutions, they may be really impressed with the tech, but they're not really wanting to get on board with it. Why? The trust. Again, faster, cheaper, scalable transactions across multiple Layer 1 chains. That's a huge deal moving forward. And I love this part because so many people in the community have pointed out, will he mention the QNT token? Yes. Gosh, I can't believe how many people still believe that QNT won't be used. QNT, everybody, is the native token powering and securing the network. That right there should be enough, but it's not. It says all institutions, enterprises, and DeFi participants use QNT to transact within Fusion. You're hearing Gilbert Verdient state that. It's like, it says it right there. Did he stutter? No, he didn't stutter. I mean, it's just all there. Trusted node program. Again, I'm not going to get too much into that, but I will get more into the whole thing about QNT. Incentivized participation. Approved node operators of the Layer 2.5 network can determine the underlying blockchains to host to expand the reach of Layer 2.5 network, leveraging our previous thinking and experiments in remote connector gateways from 2021, as well as rewards in QNT. Again, I'll state it again. Rewards in QNT. Think about that. This is why Gilbert was hinting the whole thing of staking a while back, everybody. So, yes, node operators can stake QNT for transaction priority from the transactions their nodes process. All right, what's next? The rollout of Overledger Fusion by Quant Network begins in June with a phased delivery of core features in the Trusted Node program. Each release will expand capabilities, laying the foundation for truly interoperable, scalable, and secure blockchain infrastructure tailored for institutional and DeFi growth. Overledger Fusion marks the beginning of a new era, universal multi-chain Layer 2.5 designed to make public blockchains enterprise ready and mainstream. Okay, that's big. But this part, this is where I'm kick it over to Jesse because he has stated, and not to put you on the hot seat, but you were on the hot seat. This statement, Jesse, marks the beginning of a new era, universal multi-chain Layer 2.5. So you have stated numerous times, Jesse, I'll come back in the frame on this one. You have stated numerous times about the concept of a shared unified ledger. What about universal based off of the findings, again, from Gilbert Verdient? And we got a lot more to get into. This will be a deep dive. You're going to want to stick around for it all. Again, I want to share some of your thoughts based off of what Gilbert presented to the entire world.
Oh boy, man. I'm going to have to go on a big rant here, and you're probably going to have to cut me off because it does not get bigger than this, guys. I mean, this is the real deal. I would really, I'm not trying to crazy promote my videos. It's just that I've done some very significant videos on Quant. If you go on my channel and you watch the QNT playlist, okay, because there's no way I'm going to be able to even tell you 5% here because it's so huge. But I have a QNT playlist on my YouTube channel. If you go and watch that, okay. Quant is, so first of all, I want to add, like, nothing I say here is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. Don't buy or sell anything, because anything we say, educational purposes only, okay? But oh my goodness, like I don't even know where to start. Whew. Quant is the internet of trust. It is the biggest internet that will likely ever be built in history, and it's got a token, QNT token, that is capturing the utility of that network, of that internet, okay? So as you were talking, I was, and this is technically the release. I mean, this is it, guys. Okay, it's going to be a gradual release. It's not like they're going to launch everything and like full blown in June, but it's going to be a gradual release because he's one of the top he's one of the top cybersecurity experts in the world. He knows that you just don't release everything in one shot. You have to do phases. But this is it, guys. I mean, this is it. So I'm going to try to explain this analogy. So the internet, when we went from the industrial revolution, from the from manufacturing age to the information age, which was the internet, Microsoft Windows was that door. You had the TCP protocol, and Microsoft Windows was that door to get us from the industrial age, the manufacturing age, which was the second industrial revolution, the manufacturing age, to the information age, which was the internet. The internet was the greatest transformational change in history. Okay, so now we are going from the information age to the tokenization age, or tokenization revolution. You can call it blockchain age and AI age. Okay, Quant is that door. Quant is like the Microsoft Windows with a router on top. Okay, Microsoft was that window, was that door that allows to move into the information age, like I said, the internet, right? And Quant is that door that allows us now to go to the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, everything's being tokenized, and central bank digital currencies across the world, which I'm not happy about that part. Okay, I'm not for CBDCs at all. It gives too much control for the government. But excuse me. So almost like when I'm seeing Overledger Fusion, I'm almost seeing it like this. So imagine when the internet started. Okay, this is going to be hard for me to explain, but imagine when the internet started. Let's say everybody knew the potential about it. All the biggest companies in the world, the governments, central banks, commercial bank, tech companies, and corporations. Let's assume that they all knew what the internet was going to be, but we didn't have a way to access it. And we didn't have the protocols yet. And we didn't have, like, because the internet's a bunch of different protocols. Like, you have the TCP, which is the main protocol for the internet. Then you have SMTP, which is for a standardization of emails. Then you had the HTTPS, which for your website URL. Like, there's many different protocols. Like, I'm not an internet engineer, so I can't explain it like all the protocols, but the internet is actually many different protocols that allow the internet to function. Okay, so imagine, like, it's almost like with this Quant Fusion, it's almost like you have the internet. Everybody knows that there's this internet. I'm giving the analogy of the World Wide Web, Web 2 here. Okay, the Internet of Information, websites. I'm talking about Web 2 here. Okay, so imagine everybody knows the potential. They have a pretty good idea how insane the potential is, but there's no websites that exist yet, and the protocols are not laid out yet. So the infrastructure, the different layers that we need for the internet, is not ready. Plus, the websites are not live yet. So Facebook, Amazon, all the different billions of websites or millions of websites that exist today. We're doing everything on the internet today, right? So imagine, like, we're at the beginning. Everybody knows the potential, but the protocols are not there yet in place for everybody to adopt it. You don't have Microsoft Windows, which is the door to go in, and you don't have the websites yet. You don't have anything, but everybody knows the potential. It's all there. It's loosely there, but it's not connected. It's not there yet. Literally, this is what Quant is doing for blockchain. It's literally with Fusion, it's almost like everything's there. They have all the infrastructure, they have all the pieces, and now they're launching it. It's almost like they're launching all the protocols at once. They're launching the TCP, they're launching the SNT protocol for emails, they're launching the HTTP for the website URLs to make it static, not static, whatever, so people can build websites. And they're, like, launching everything. Plus, they're launching all the majority of the websites all at once. Like it's almost like we're going to the fourth industrial age, like I said, which is the tokenization age and AI. Okay, everything's going on a blockchain. Everything. Quant is that infrastructure layer. Like I said, it's almost like here they're launching everything, and okay, you guys take it over from here. You build whatever you want on it. It's there. It's all there for you guys. All the protocols, all the standardizations, everything is there for you. You've got email, you've got the websites are there. You can build websites. Like everything's there. Go ahead now, take over and just build whatever can be built on this new internet. That's what Quant is doing here. They're putting everything right up front. Boom, here it is, and here we go. Like this is the one. And what's different here is what's so mind-boggling about Quant. This is the reason I became so obsessed with Quant. Researched Quant over 4,000 over 4,000 hours in the last 5 years. What's so insane is you have a QNT token. You have a token that's capturing the value of the network. Okay, so this is unheard of. Like Quant, the QNT token is used for many different things, including hyper decentralizing the network and also securing the network. Gilbert Vernian made it very clear that those were some of the reasons that he created QNT the way he created it. Everybody needs to have QNT in their wallet to basically interact with Overledger. The enterprises need to buy QNT, or they need to buy licenses, which locks up the QNT. There's QNT charge for every transfer, whether it's financial transfers or data transfer. QNT is used for everything. So when the internet was built, it didn't have blockchain. The internet that we have today, the internet of information, websites and what we're using right now to talk on video, the internet did not have blockchain at the time. It was not built on blockchain. So they couldn't put a token within the protocol and make it so that the internet is forced to use the token every time something happens on the internet, right? So imagine years ago when the internet was created, they would have built in a blockchain and they would have created a token with only 14 million supply, and they would have built the rules. They would have created the rules, hard-coded the rules in the internet protocol, and they would have said, okay, every time somebody sends an email or a picture or a video to anybody or builds a website, anything you do on the internet, you need to use the QNT token. Can you imagine what that token would be worth today with a limited supply of 14 million? We are producing more data right now in 1 minute than we did in the last 100 years. Okay, because when you're producing video, every time you go on TikTok and you produce a video on any of these websites, YouTube, TikTok, you produce a video, this is a huge amount of data. And we're producing more videos right now in 1 minute than we did in like 20 years. Almost. It's insane the amount of data we're producing in 1 day. And this doesn't account for the Internet of Things as well. It's coming, which is already here. Okay, so imagine all this data flowing through the internet. If there was a token there that had to be used, it could not flow without touching this token. Can you imagine what the value of that token would be today? It's mind-boggling, okay? Because you can't have any more supply. It's hard-coded. It's 14 million supply. Like, again, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you it's going to be worth $1 trillion. I'm just giving you I'm just explaining my opinion, how I see things here, okay? It's just, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. The potential is absolutely insane. Insane. We've never been able to capture the value of a network before until blockchain was created. Now we can tokenize, we can capture the value of networks. But what's very interesting here about Quant, it is the biggest network. It's an internet. You have XRP's internet of value, and you have Quant as internet of trust, because it's interconnecting everything, all the legacy systems that exist, to blockchain. That's why it's called the internet of trust. Now we have a token that's going to capture the utility of this biggest internet ever. So it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's not mind-blowing, sorry. Not only are we able to capture the utility of networks, but in this case, we're going to capture the utility. The QNT token is going to capture the utility of potentially the most powerful and biggest internet ever created. And the amount of data and value that's going to move over this internet protocol is going to make the internet, eventually, going to make the internet look like a joke, in my opinion. In my opinion. But hey, he's way above my pay grade. Okay, so anyways, a little rant there. It doesn't get bigger than this, because technically this is what Fusion is. It's the full-scale launch. It's Gilbert Verdian's vision coming to light here. That's why he said in the comments that he had tears as he was rolling this out, because this is his vision of 20 years. 20 years ago, he wrote an article, I believe it's like 20 years ago, where he said that we need to re-architecture the internet. The internet was not meant to move money at the time. It was never the infrastructure of the internet was not properly not properly done. So Quant Overledger, he's creating a layer so that value and data can flow properly there. It's hard to explain, but he's literally, this is his vision coming to light. Fusion, the 2.5 layer, is literally the full rollout of Quant Overledger by stages, from what I understand.
Yeah, the way I look at it, everybody knows about Bitcoin. All right, I won't get into the details on what Bitcoin. I think I won't get into all that, but for the most part, mainstream, they just call it Bitcoin. Everybody knows about that. I think it's inevitable. Everybody will know about Quant. Now, getting further into this, I want to share something with you guys. This is very important to get into this. It's a highlight from Gilbert Verdian, once again. And in the highlight, he points out this. It's like, why did he wait to now? Why introduce a new layer 2.5 and why now? I mean, that's a great question. Some of you guys are asking these questions. So after extensive trials and implementations with permission DLTs, institutions are now shifting focus toward public blockchains to achieve broader distribution. DeFi use cases have demonstrated the viability, benefits, and commercial advantages of going on-chain. However, direct use of layer 1 networks poses challenges, particularly around compliance and security. And like he mentions, regulatory restrictions prevent these institutions from allowing their transactions to be processed by nodes in sanctioned jurisdictions. You want to know who talked about this? Augustine Carstens. He talked about how, for example, sanctioned jurisdictions like BRICS, he said we can't ever go with that, ever. I have a video about that. Anyway, just pound that home. So in sanctioned jurisdictions, doing so could inadvertently result in payments to those entities. Their priority isn't necessarily which blockchain they use, but rather the ability to reach a wider audience, tap into liquidity, and ensure acceptance compatibility with tokenized money or stablecoins. Okay, so the BIS has their position as announced by Augustine Carstens of what they plan to do. But for me, it's like, yeah, guess what? That's the beautiful thing about decentralization. That's the beautiful thing about blockchain DLT. It's being able to have everything to be fully interoperable moving forward, if you think about that. As we get to this next part, let's pull up some other key things here. And that is what you're going to see here. Now, I don't want to get into the full detailed analysis of this because it'll take over an hour. But basically speaking, it's what you're about to see right here. So this one is called Payscript. It's from GitHub, basically. So I decided to plug this into Grok. And here's what Grok has. It's a summary. It says the Payscript document outlines a powerful DSL for automating and customizing financial transactions. It is in fact integrated, like it points out here, with the Quant Flow platform. Its significance lies in enabling banks to rapidly develop tailored financial products while adhering to open banking standards, potentially increasing Quant's ecosystem adoption. For the QNT token, Payscript could drive demand if it increases reliance on Quant's infrastructure. Well, to me, Jesse, seems as though that Gilbert already pointed it out. Goes on to mention, but the lack of direct mention of QNT's role suggests its impact will depend on broader ecosystem, blah, blah, blah. In reality, Gilbert already laid that out. Now, jump into this next part, why it matters to you guys. Let's pull up more information. And as we do, it's going to share some key things here that's obviously important for us all. So let's get into it. And basically it's this. Remember how we talked about EBA Day? So many people have asked, I don't have any information about what banks will use this. That's not true. We've done a lot of research about this already. But it's the infrastructure. So the lead sponsors of it all. You have, for example, Deutsche Bank. You have JP Morgan, host and bank sponsors, Bank of America. And we know about Bank of America, especially with Ripple XRP, BNP Paribas, BNY Mellon, Again, HSBC. Jesse and I recently did a collaboration about how literally there's a thing with HSBC and XRP, Ripple XRP, literally in documentation. Citi, of course, hosted the RLN and RSN. There's just so many things here. NatWest, I think I did a outline about NatWest with ISO TC 307, if I'm not mistaken, especially with Australia. So there's so much material here. A little bit more about this. Corporate sponsors, Accenture. Some other big ones, ACI Worldwide, I pointed out in other deep dives and so on. You have Nexi. How many times have we mentioned Nexi with Quant? Oracle, obviously, partnership with Quant Network. Oracle, the infrastructure, literally for what? JP Morgan. Swift, we done Swift updates. Visa, you have, for example, Quant Network, you have Stellar, and you have Hedera. So all these big market participants. As we pull up more about this and why it matters to you, exhibitors. Remember how we just mentioned some of these other big conglomerates? I mean, again, you see here Pfizer, Finastra. People say that these are Quant's competition. Again, it's not necessarily just competing with them all. It's leveraging their technology, everybody. And again, at the top, cloud sponsors, Microsoft. We just talked about Microsoft, and we also have shared quite a bit of Microsoft integration with the Overledger. All right, a tad bit more before we wrap this up here in a bit. You will also see this, which is also good to point out, and it's basically what you're about to see in regard to this video. So we're going to play this video, listen to it well, and we'll come right back.
From a prototype to a product, a sketch to a skyline, and from a single order to a global marketplace. But money hasn't caught up. It stalls, stops, and waits for instruction. However, with QuantFlow, your money moves like your ideas, seamlessly and intuitively. Powered by Payscript, our dynamic open language, your financial workflows become intelligent, automated, and instant. Programmable money that works for you, all of you, so you can focus on what's next. Your money, your rules. QuantFlow, the money engine.
Okay, the other thing I want to show or share with you guys is this PDF. Shout out to Quant Papa for the finding. On page 1 of 3 of QuantFlow Solution Sheet PDF, it says redefine money, fuel growth, and remove inefficiencies. Again, QuantFlow is the game-changing programmable money platform redefining business with next-generation intelligent bank accounts that move beyond today's limitations. I mean, we can get so into all of this and why it matters to you, but one thing that really, really caught my attention is when I went into some key things here. Because for one, it mentions in the document about a key thing, I think that Gilbert referenced. So let me just pull this up for you. And it's this. It says, for banks, we provide a white label solution that enables you to offer innovative, programmable products to your customers. On a simple Google search, white label solution, it means this. It means it's a pre-packaged product or service that one company, the producer, provides to another company, the reseller, who then rebrands and resells it under their own name. This allows businesses to offer products or services without investing in their own development or manufacturing. This is why Quant Network is able to leverage so many different things with obviously the Overledger. So eventually, when we talk about that Quant will be involved in everything, it means just that through things like white labels. So take you down the rabbit hole of why this all matters to you. Even from another simple search, the projected market value by 2030 of white label solutions, well, basically, here's the specific segments and sectors that they're part of. There's white label ATM market. That's projected to reach $10.2 billion by 2030. White label cosmetics market, expected to reach $1.57 billion by 2030. Print on demand, POD industry, projected to reach $64.3 billion by 2032. Banking as a service market, relevant to white label neobanking, projected to reach $65.95 billion by 2030. And last but not least, white label payment gateway market, projected to reach $7.5 billion by 2033. gateways. That's interesting because we know about Quant and, of course, gateways. Now, the other part I want to take you to is this Quant Flow Solution Guide. And what's really interesting is sometimes we don't read the fine print, do we? For the most part, we don't. But on the bottom right, from Quant Flow, the money engine, sometimes you just got to have people like us to catch some of these key things. What it mentions with the whole thing of financial conduct authority, excuse me, I apologize, it's actually on the left. That's a big deal, okay? Here's why it's a big deal. If you do another search for the financial conduct authority, it mentions specifically crypto asset service providers from their Wikipedia entry. The FCA serves as the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing AML CTF supervisor for crypto asset businesses under the money laundering, terrorist financing, and transfer of funds regulations 2017. Any firm intending to carry out crypto asset activities within the UK must register with the FCA prior to commencing operations. All right, so obviously they're a big deal, right? All right, check this out for just a brief moment. Back in 2017, from this document that is from jonesday.com, refers to blockchain as a business, is the name of the document. On page 19 of 27, it says, in March 2017, the FSA announced the establishment of cooperation frameworks with each of the UK's, as in the United Kingdom's, Financial Conduct Authority and the Monetary Authority of Singapore to support innovative fintech companies. Back in 2017, the FSA launched multilateral joint research, of course, on blockchain. Now watch this. Take you over to here. Remember how they mentioned the Monetary Authority of Singapore? Well, do we have a Quant connection? We do. The Monetary Authority of Singapore is actively involved in the supports of the work of ISO TC 307, the Quant Network Standard, the international standards body for blockchain distributed technologies, and the MAS recognizes the potential of blockchain technology for various applications, including digital money and, of course, asset tokenization. All right, another key thing here, just in case if you're wondering. Their currency, as we know, is the Singapore dollar. But it's interesting to see that it has a standard in itself. Keep in mind that in their reserves, they have 419.1 billion. Because when you jump into their reserves for the SGD, that's a standard in itself called ISO 4217. Don't forget that, because that leads us to this. When you look up ISO 4217, here's what is really eye-opening. References specifically X currencies. Think about this. Funds, precious metals, supranationals. How many times have you heard us talk about this lately? So, palladium, gold, silver, platinum. That's interesting. And here's why it's really, really interesting, to say the least. Is Ripple XRP a supranational currency? Well, Ripple's connection with the IMF and central banks, XRP was labeled a supranational currency, an official document discussing digital fiat currencies. And as cited here, the Bancor was a supranational currency, as pointed out by this guy, whose name is X Anderson. Excuse me, I want to give him a shout out real quick. He is from this particular medium called Anders L. So it says, what is the connection between the IMF, central banks, and Ripple? From analyzing different speeches by Christine Lagarde, and she's been on the news a lot lately, the head of the International Monetary Fund, along with the witnessing Ripple holding meetings, appearing on meetings for central banks, there's a strong suspicion that there are deep involvements between the three entities. And again, I basically will leave you even with this, because we thought we would drop in some Zebec with it. I think it is more than coincidence. It says, from Blue Collar Crypto. Please know, I could be wrong. I just found the timing to be too coincidental. The day Quant Network releases Quant Flow, ZBCN posts saying something is brewing across the pond. If you know Quant as perfect use case with Zebec, like they were made for each other. I have an unreleased video with Rue Black that highlights about roughly 10 to 15 new integrations that match up with key partners from Zebec. And like he says, on another hand, there has been words in the streets hinting at a possible Revolut listing, which would be definitely be bullish. And as we know, Revolut holds like over 25,000 QNT. Zebec partnering with Quant Network. This was asked in the X space for a brief moment. We'll play this and we'll wrap it up. Here we go.
The next question that we have from the community is the Zebec network expected to be ISO 222 compliant?
Yes, it is. This is a high priority item on our roadmap. Of course, we work closely with Stellar and other companies in the space that are up to this standard. And as Zebec's network grows and we roll out more products in more countries, the importance of the ISO compliance is greater. So it's something that's on our roadmap, and it's something that we should have within the end of the year.
All right, so I know there was a lot to get into there with showing you documents, showing you the XRP reference, national currency, the citation at the end in regard to Zebec. Again, for me, it's leveraging technologies. You can even leverage the ones with the partners that Zebec is connected to and so on. Again, I just got to have you inject on some of this because there's just so much to wrap our heads around, and we'll try to do our best to maybe chop up some of this where it's not super long. But again, this is a deep dive for everybody. Your thoughts, Jesse, your closing thoughts.
So first of all, nobody's competing with Quant. If somebody's telling you that Quant's got a competitor or competition, they're either confused or lying to you. And if you don't believe me, please watch my QNT playlist on my website. That's the number one thing. Okay, white labeling. Quant will be the number one white label in the world. Okay, there will not be any more valuable, in my opinion, in regards to white label in the future. There's not going to be any other white label that's going to be more valuable than Quant because it's the internet of trust. Okay, that's complete insanity. Okay, number two. So, in regards to XRP and the IMF. Okay, so the wait, I'm gonna make a video on this. I'm telling you, I've cracked the code, but I don't want to say it all here. Okay, the XRP is the new special drawing rights of the IMF. Bottom line, it's been planned for many years. I know why they've redone it, why they had to redo the SDR. It's a redoing of the SDR, okay? And that's what it is. Been planned for many years, and I'm gonna make a video on that. I've already made a video on my website. It's on my YouTube channel, but the audio was really not good. If you can bear with the audio, and you can, if you want to watch it all the information is there. And I've watched over 9,000 hours of I've done over 9,000 hours of research in XRP. I've done a lot of deep research in the IMF SDR. I've never seen a video even remotely close to cracking the code like I have on this video. I know it doesn't sound very humble, okay? It's just that I really did crack the code on the IMF and the SDR and the XRP relation. It's I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it here. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna give that information to to all the other to all the other YouTubers. If the other YouTubers wanna know, they're gonna have to watch my video. I'm sorry, guys. No, it's a special drawing rights. But my video, I explain exactly why they had to redo the special drawing rights, why the IMF is redoing it through Ripple, okay, and how they're going about. And I show all the proof. Been planning way back since The Economist magazine in 1988, which came out the year before David Schwartz got the Bitcoin patent in 1989, while he was working for the most powerful three-letter agency in the world. So definitely it's more than the IMF and Ripple connections, way more than that. So that's it. Like, I could go on for hours, but video's already pretty long, buddy. So really appreciate you guys watching our videos, your support, and really appreciate when you guys smash that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Really appreciate all the support. So I'll pass it back on to you there, Maxi boy.
Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Simply do us a solid if you listen to the entire outline and type in this key phrase into the comments, and that is Quant Flow Fusion. And we'll know that you listened to the entire outline. On behalf of myself and Jesse over at Apex Crypto Consulting, NFA, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.